Hello again. Welcome back to VFX with Natron. Today, or I should, as an amendment today, we're going to make an actual functioning node group that is going to do something. It's going to be a new node, a node that doesn't exist, but we're going to make it. Just so it can be quick. All right. So with no further ado, we're going to get into Natron. Alright, so here in Natron, what we're going to first do, let's see, what are we going to do? We're going to build a random box generator, random little things, like people always want the ability to make random blocks. People can make random noise, but how do you make random blocks that blink around? Alright, we're going to make it quick. So, first thing we're going to do is, well, we'll start off with something like a random node. Where's that random? There it is. Rand draw. We'll connect up there, and we get random. When we play this, we get random noise. That's not very useful. Not very useful at all. Alright, let's see. What can we do to make that more useful? Let's change its size. We're going to change its size to instead of 1920 by 1080, we're going to make it 16 by 9, and then we're going to put in a scale node, or no, a transform node. Transform. And we're going to set the scale up about 137, I'm guessing. Give us a nice. And we also need to we're currently centered, so I need to set my center point for my transform. I'm also going to put that back down to 1 there, and I'm going to set this to 0 and this to 0. That way it's centered nicely, and we have something here that is blurry, so not very readable. So we're going to change our filtering. Our filtering is how, when Natron scales it, how it's going to scale it, how it resamples the pixels. Currently it's doing cubic, which is making it all blurry, so we're going to switch this to box, which will give us a nice boxy shape. And now we've wound up with something that's good, and that's going to be the foundation for our new node. We're going to use these two as our core, but we also have a problem. We're a little bit bigger than our actual output, so we don't want that to actually mess up. We don't want this to mess up people's projects. We want this to be exactly a specific size. This is HD, so I want it to be cropped to the exact size. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say, for this particular situation, I'm going to make it cropped, because this is only going to be effective, by the way, at 1920 or by 1080. That's a simple effect. Alright, so we're going to crop it. We're going to set it so that it crops. Crop. Put a crop in there. There. Now, the crop's taken the input and trimmed out all the excess so that we're not rendering, or we're not outputting any more than this. And that way, if we do other comp nodes later down the line, like gimmick nodes in particular, are finicky about having something that exactly matches the output resolution as the input resolution a lot of times. So, alright, now we have these 3 nodes. We're going to group them. And we're going to go back to, I'm going to actually take this group, I'm going to split my view so I can view these side by side. I'm going to take group 1, put it here. Let's get that source over, zoom back in, and pull this out. Alright, so we're going to double click our group. We're going to rename this. I think we're going to call it Rand Blocks 1. Alright, so it's going to, the goal of this is it's going to create random blocks. we're also going to give it a nice color. Let's give it a color. We're going to say, oh, we'll give it like, oh, this pinkish color now. Or like, go with this. Yeah, that looks, well, I don't know why. We're just picking it. We're going to dim it down though. It's just too vibrant right now. Let's set it to like 192. Yeah, that's a much more reasonable look for our own custom node. We're going to sit here and we're going to say right click on the properties to add user parameters. We're going to go into the user parameters. We're going to first pick. We're going to click pick to create. It's going to ask us to pick a thing. We're going to use our rand one. We're going to just pull 2 parameters from there. The parameter we're going to pick is going to be, let's see, I want to get the noise. I want to be able to control, I think the noise, yeah, the noise, wait a minute, I want to make sure, yeah, I want to control the noise, and I want to make it an alias for right now, because I want direct access. It doesn't have a user page, so we need to create a user page. So we need to first create a user page. We're going to just call it controls. Don't know why it didn't ask us for controls as well before, but controls. There, we'll make that, and there we go. All right, we're going to hit cancel. We're going to take our controls page. We're going to move it back up. Doesn't matter that it didn't ask us the first time. It asked us the second time. So now we're going to try pick again. We're going to go back to our rand one. We're going to pick our noise. We're going to keep it on the root. No special custom things because it's going to be simple. And we're going to go and we're going to pick a second control. And I'm going to pick my rand. And I'm going to pick for my second thing. I'm going to pick my... I think I want to pick my density. Alright, those are the 2 controls. That's all we're going to need for this particular thing. Alright, and we're going to close this. And now if we go back to our blocks, we go over to our controls and we have rand noise, rand density. When we play this, by default, we get blinky blocks, which is good. That's what I said I want, but I want more control over it. I want to make some of these disappear. And the way I do that is I reduce my density way down. I'm going to just keep the density going down until I start getting these black bits. I'm going to just keep doing it on sub-fractional bits until I get something really small like that. But I want to increase the noise intensity, so I want to bring this up to about 4. There we go. So I've reduced the density. I've increased the noise, and now when I go back, I'm going to get these random blinky bits. This might be useful if you were, say, doing an old computer interface and you wanted to make something look like a computer interface. That would be a potential use. So now we've created this rand block, so we don't need this group anymore, so we'll close the group. There we go. We have this block. It's completely controllable here. And we hit play. And we have a random block generator. Whoopsie, you didn't want to do that. Random blocks generator, and there we go. Very short, very quick, just so we can see that we can make functional groups. I just had a problem with the last one. We just had something that wasn't going to work. This one works. We have something that's completely controllable, completely usable. All these controls are accessible not from inside it of the actual thing. Now, here's something interesting. You'll note that we had this up at 4. 4 brought it up to the brightness I wanted because my density, when I brought my density too low, I could bring it up higher. You know, I might want to change this. Maybe I want this to go higher for people. Let's actually change that quickly. Manage user parameters. Go up here. Let's edit that. We can actually change the density noise maximum. Instead of the maximum being 1, which is a default value, let's change our maximum so that it is where I had it before. Let's make it 4. Actually, let's just make it... No, I'm going to make it, just to be on the safe side, we'll make it 8. Alright, so now when I go back... and we'll close. It's normal. It's noise. It starts off at 1, but I can up it to now 4 by just dragging it instead of the other. I can drag it up, and now my density is going up to 8, or I can bring it down to 5. Now remember, I said in the past I have turbo mode, auto turbo mode on, which often changes the results when I'm dragging controls, which is oftentimes why I usually just drag up and down the values, because that works with inside of that. So there we go. We have a look at it, and we have a functional node. All right. And that's going to conclude it for today. Let's get back to me. All right, that's me. That's going to conclude it. Keep on nitroning. And that was a much more successful video. You guys have a great day. All right.